Well, now we know that. All right, we're back here. We tall, putty tat. It is Sylvester Land Field here in Roselle, New Jersey. Crazy time along with JJ here in Major League Football competition. We're about ready to start the second half of the Lehigh Valley Storm. A very dominant first half with very few mistakes. They lead the New Jersey Longhorns by a score of 37-0. Now, the Longhorns will get the ball to start the second half, and the Longhorns are just wrapping up some calisthenics post-halftime here. But I didn't really get to ask you because we kind of rushed ourselves off to end the first half. What did you think of how the Storm did? I mean, that might be the dumbest question of the night.
I mean, they definitely rolled. They were much better on offense. So Hugh was getting to his receivers better, throwing some strikes, and the running attack with Raheem Ridley and Sean Mayer is really getting it done tonight. That's something that's real important. Establish a run to open up the pass, and that's what they're doing.
Okay, well, the Longhorns will have the ball to start the second half. They'll be moving left to right, the Storm right to left. And, of course, we switch sides in the final quarter. Just to recap things, the Storm got to a 7-0 lead on a Lehigh touchdown pass to Yusuf Reddick from about 9 yards out, almost similar to what happened in the second half of last week's game where Yusuf went to the left, but this time Reddick went to the right. Then came a block punt, which was recovered by Mike Kuzer in the end zone for a touchdown. Then Lehigh threw a bomb 45 yards to Devon Gordon, making 21-0. Raheem Ridley had a 33-yard touchdown run, making it 28-0. And then came some of the most bizarre sequences you will ever hear in a football game, and I'll tell you that in a moment, as Eppelman is about to approach the tee and kick this thing off as we're underway here in the second half. High and end over end and taking about the goal line, moving up the middle. One of the Longhorns players to the 20. Oh, he has a hole. Look out. 30, 40, midfield. Eppelman the only one to beat. And Eppelman able to take him down at about the 37-yard line. Boy, he held his ground. Otherwise, that is a kickoff return for a touchdown. And I believe that was Donnell Williams who was able to run. I said Donaldson by accident. He plays for the Piranha. Donnell Williams with a great kickoff return. A good start for the Longhorns to begin the second half.
I mean, I actually joke with Bob, you can make any tackles before the game with him, and there he did. That was a great job by 47 stopping a touchdown, something, a big play that Longhorns needed to start the second half.
I'll tell you something else. I mean, now he can take it serious.
Yeah.
And who knows, if the score stays the same, he could be on the defensive line in the fourth quarter, but that might be asking a little too much.
Yeah, it's never good when your kicker makes a tackle, but a good touchdown-saving tackle there by Bobby Eppelman.
Rob White, the quarterback for the New Jersey Longhorns, as it is 1st and 10 from about the 32-yard line of the Storm. Back goes White, and a pass caught along the right side, crossing the 30, and stepping out of bounds at the 20-yard line is Darryl Giles. Giles gains 12, and it's a first down for the Longhorns, who are playing fired up to begin the second half.
And just misread there by number 4, the cornerback, Jaron Elder. But Longhorns right now, one big kickoff return and one big play, and they're looking to punch one in and get back in this football game.
They're inside the red zone, so 1st and 10 from the 19-yard line. It was a gain of 13 as Rob White, I'm getting White and right. Yeah, I'm going to have to do my pronunciation here. Right back to pass, couple step drop, shots went to the left, pass caught, and Williams catches it at about the 12-yard line on the far side of the field. No, actually, that was Kenny Prillo, who picks up a 7 to the 12, and no huddling now are the Longhorns. It's a 5-score game. They're down 37-0, so they want to get on the board as quickly as they can. Remember, this is a team that has put some points on the board in the previous 9 games. Right in the shotgun again, going empty backfield. Back goes right, looking, pump fakes, looking. Now he's going to run to the right. He may have some room if he wants. He's going to throw a deep one right side, and he throws that all the way to Route 28. Incomplete. A Storm player ends up cramping up along the near side, and the papers are wet here. That's Corey Worthy, who looked like he was down, but he's back up. But 3rd and 3 coming up meanwhile for the Longhorns.
Yeah, and the Storm definitely have to leave this game healthy for sure. But second down coming up, right? Is it second you said, or third?
3rd and 3 coming up at the 12. There was a 7-yard pass play and then incompletion.
Gotcha, 3rd down there, but just another overthrown ball by number 6, Rob Wright.
Yeah, he's done a lot of that today, and obviously I don't know if it's just adrenaline or what have you, but whatever the case may be, this is a very important third down for the New Jersey Longhorns. Still the goose egg. Storm lead 37-0 right now. This is not a misprint here or a misannouncement. Right in the shotgun, once again going empty backfield. So basically the running game is being completely abandoned here. And now the Longhorns are going to call a timeout here because they're not sure of the personnel that they have on the field. So just to go back to what we had here, we stopped, it was 28-0. On consecutive plays were injuries where the Storm had basically gone to about the 1 yard line of the Longhorns. It was 3rd and goal from like the 9. Lehigh threw a slant to Michael Thomas. He was tackled at the 1 when all of a sudden a horrible injury happened to Edgar Rodriguez. It was bad enough that he had to be taken away by ambulance. We're not sure about the extent of the injury, although reports say it's an ankle injury. We do not know the severity of it, and we're just going to leave it at that. Other players might say otherwise, but just for the safety of everyone, we'll just leave it at that. And then on the next play, it looked like he had scored a touchdown, but the official said he was just short, and lineman James Robinson ended up suffering an injury, but he did come back on the next Storm drive. So more on that in a second. 3rd and 3, meanwhile, at the Storm 12 for Rob Wright and his crew for the Longhorns. Wright takes the snap, he's looking, he's under a rush, he'll throw on the left side, and again overthrows his receiver, incomplete. Intended for Donnell Williams. I'll tell you what, it's like the 5th overthrown ball by Rob Wright here in this game.
And he's had a couple of wide receivers open all game, actually, and some key players in key situations, but he's just got to take a little mustard off the balls there.
Tell me about him.
The
Wish they
Giants
did.
scores a touchdown.
You mean the Northwest Giants? You said Giants.
I said and try and score some touchdowns.
Well, we scored 5. My goodness. Well, we'll see. Hey, you never know. We'll see what happens on 4th and 3. One of the youngsters actually was talking to us saying that the Longhorns wanted to score, but we'll see what happens. 4th and 3 from the 12-yard line, right in the shotgun. Once more, empty backfield. 5 receivers, 3 on the left-hand side, waiting for it. And the snap went by Wright, and it's going to be picked up and recovered by Mike Kuzer at about the 28-yard line. The center for the Longhorns just having a nightmare game. This is the 3rd such horrendous snap, and the best chance for scoring today for the Longhorns, and a good drive too, just went by the boards. Just a horrendous snap.
And then that comes back to the touchdown saving tackle by 47 Bobby Appleman. Couple plays let up, but they bent, they didn't break, and that's a huge play by Kuzer. Obviously the center for the Longhorns is having a real tough time tonight on turf.
Now let's see what the Storm bring out. They're up 37-0. We're going to see probably a good number of the reserves. As a matter of fact, we're seeing Lehigh still in the game, but we're also seeing, speaking of Kuzer, Rob Kuzer in the game as a single setback next to Jimmy Lehigh. 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line. Lehigh waits for the shotgun snap. Reddick now goes in motion to the right, takes the snap, inside handoff. Kuzer has a hole, crossing the 30, and goes down to about the 33 before being tackled by Terrence the Amazing Munford.
Yeah, and Rob Kuzer is a guy that is the 3rd string running back for the Lehigh Valley Storm, and this is the earliest that we've seen him. Obviously, the Storm up 37-0, but look for the Storm to start running out the clock, even though there's a lot of time left in this football game.
And give us some a la peanut butter sandwiches for the ride home. 2nd and we'll say 5 from the 32. In motion, Michael Thomas to the left. He gets the end around. Let's see what he does. He's off and running to the 30, 35, and brought down nicely by James Wright. Wright brings him down for a gain of, we'll say, maybe 3. So it'll be 3rd and short for the Storm.
And to note, number 11, Yusuf Reddick had a nice block on that play also. He has 2 touchdowns in this game, but he's also having a good blocking game at the receiver position.
Okay, so now it is 3rd and 2, we'll say, from the 35-yard line, with the Storm leading 37-0. I forgot to tell you exactly what happened after the back-to-back injuries. Just a very bizarre set of sequences here. Reddick in motion, hand handoff to Kuzer. Oh, he's got a hole. He'll move over to about the 40. Still moving. First down midfield and brought down at about the 48. A gain of 17 yards, and the amazing Terrence Mumford, makes the tackle, but the Storm moved the chains.
The offensive line really is creating some good holes for the Storm running backs in this game.
And indeed they are. So, 1st and 10 now. The Storm in Longhorn territory, otra vez at the 48-yard line. Kuzer, who's been the main running back for this set. I'm sure we're not going to see any more Mayers and Ridley in this one. In the pistolero, in motion, Michael Thomas still left. They're going to give it to Kuzer. And Rob ran into our lineman and didn't quite get much out of it, so really nothing doing. So 2nd and 10 coming up.
Yeah, not much to do there. Good job by the interior defensive lineman for the Longhorns.
Well, actually, it looks like a loss of one on the play, so 2nd and 11 coming up. And by the way, the Storm scored their last touchdown on a touchdown run by, it was an end around by Yusuf Reddick, but in between that, a safety that the Storm got because Rob Wright, the quarterback, ended up throwing a pass to himself. Speaking of Reddick, on 2nd now is an end around, and there's a flag down as he goes and bounces off a couple tackles down to about the 40. Let's see what the penalty's all about. We haven't seen too many of those flags with the exception of false starts. But if
hold on the offense.
Yeah, it looks like a hold on the Storm. That's exactly what it is. But just to quickly recap, after those 2 injuries by the Storm, and like you just fallen short of the goal line, the Longhorns got the ball back right at the 1/3 yard line. Rob Wright, the quarterback for the Longhorns, went back to pass. It was deflected. He caught the pass in the middle of his own end zone, but got tackled there for a safety. So the Longhorns punted away. The Storm drove back, and what do you know? An end around to Yusuf Reddick from 9 yards out, touchdown, and that's how we got to 37-0. So long pause in between, but I'll tell you what, this has been absolutely dominating for the Lehigh Valley Storm. And once again, as I would kind of put it, the second quarter seems to be their quarter, and this time was 23 points.
Yeah, absolutely. Last game, the second quarter wasn't, but this game they really stepped up and had a great second quarter.
Indeed. All right, so following the hold, it is 2nd and about 21. Storm back in their own territory, about the 41. Reddick in motion to the right. And back goes LeHue on a pass. He's going to throw to the right and ends up throwing it way over Reddick's head, incomplete. One of the rare off passes by LeHue in this one today, so 3rd and long coming up.
A little bit of Rob Wright syndrome right there.
I was just thinking that. But then again, but I guess from the mental department, it kind of laxes a little when the score tends to be what it is. 37-0, Storm leading the New Jersey Longhorns as we are about set for the 3rd and 21 now. Storming about the 40-yard line, their own territory. Here comes Tribeca, and now splitting off for Reddick and Chris White to the right-hand side. LeHue in the shotgun. Kuzer still behind him. Back goes LeHue. He'll throw a slant up the middle. He was looking for Chris White, but the ball went left. White went right, and thankfully I got that pronunciation right because the bottom line was it was incomplete.
Yeah, a little miscommunication there from LeHue and White, but Bobby Epplman is coming out for the punt team for the first time all game.
Indeed, first drive for the Storm today. Actually, the second drive for the Storm today hasn't resulted in points. Of course, that 4th and goal where LeHue was just a little bit short, according to the officials, of getting into the end zone. We thought he had finally scored a rushing touchdown. It was not to be. But Epplman will punt. Starting to get a little foggy on the field, believe it or not, along the corner, close about the 15-20 yard line. But Epplman will take the snap, and he gets the punt away, but it starts to whistle, and we got flags down yet again. So, yeah, we know it's a penalty, right? Raheem Ridley just reminding me of that one. He's being a smart aleck, isn't he? A false start on the Storm will back it up 5 more yards, so Epplman will try it again. And then, oh, you gotta love it. Silence is golden, and so is the score right now. 37-0 Storm over the New Jersey Longhorns. And I was going to say, I was going to look at the Longhorns slate, because they were 5-4 going in, and it doesn't look like they will go 6-4 the way things are looking unless something strange happens. Single returner is Kenny Prelo's back. Snap this time taken, and a booming punt. And there are two people back. Prelo takes it on a bounce at about the 20, and then he's brought down on a nice combined tackle by Reddick and Grady Pizarro for a very short return. Nice punt by Bobby Eppelman. We're going to say probably on a good bounce, a 44-yard punt.
Yeah, great punt by Bobby in the first of this game so far tonight. And once again, the Storm special teams is stepping up and making plays.
Indeed they are, and that's why the Storm are up 37-0 right now. So, by the way, just so you know about the Longhorns before their next possession, they were 5-4 going in, just to so you're aware of what their schedule was like. And of course, I have completely wet papers. They got shut out 31-0 by the New Jersey. They got shut out 31-0 by the New York Predators. Then they shut out the Westchester Steelers 35-0. Lost to Tri-State 23-15, beat the Somerset Bears in quite a game 7-6, lost to the Bravehearts 13-7, and we'll get to the rest of the schedule in a moment, as it is 1st and 10 from about the 21-yard line. Looks like a new quarterback in, and a high snap, and a pass on the left side, collision, and incomplete. The quarterback looks to be Brian Bird, and that was intended for Donnell Williams, but I'm guessing that Rob Wright is not in for this series.
Yeah, great job by the Storm cornerback there, number 14, and just coming up and knocking it out of the wide receiver's hands.
So, and by the way, just to run down the rest of the schedule, the Longhorns won 6-2 over the Northwest Giants, beat the Delaware Legacy 15-6, shut out the Westchester Warriors 30-0, and then lost 34-24 last week they lost to the Brooklyn Mariners 34-24. So, twice this year, the Longhorns have put 30-plus on the board, but tonight, it's the Storm that once again have put up 30 on the scoreboard. So, right now, it is 37-0, the Storm with the lead, as once again Brian Bird at quarterback in for Rob Wright, who just has had he can move, but he's just had a bad day. Wright hands it off up the middle and crashing down with a hard hit, and down to about the, we'll say, 25-yard line for a gain of 5. That was Jonathan Blackwood with that one. I'll make it 3rd and 5 now for the Longhorns.
And John Kennedy just came up as safety position. They're really delivering some big hits in today's game, and that's another one right there.
Indeed. So now 3rd and 5 coming up. A short huddle for the Longhorns, trying to get on the board, down 37-0 to the Lehigh Valley Storm. Bird, of course, with his pink towel wrapped around his belt line, waiting for a snap here. They're going with 3 receivers, slot to the left this time, Donnell Williams. Back goes Bird. He's looking. He's going to throw a deep one right side, and the pass is incomplete. And off the hands again, off of Daryl Giles. In the vicinity was Jaron Elder, and it looked like that Giles was going to bring that down, but Elder was able to hit just as the ball got there. And once again, the Longhorns go 3 and out.
And Elder and safety John Kennedy actually ran into each other. I thought number 19 Giles was going to come down with another spectacular catch, and actually looks like number 4 Jaron Elder shaking up a little bit on the play.
He rushes off a little bit. So now 4th down comes up, and we'll see if the Longhorns are punting again. No, they're actually going for it in their own territory. As we can see the moon in the northeast part of the field just trying to rise itself up. Remember, we had some rain overnight, and then some in the morning, and a cold front coming through. So it is October weather, so it is football. It's not like 110 outside, so yes, it will be a punt, by the way, for the Longhorns on 4th down. High snap, flag down, and the punt is away. Will it be Reddick? No, on a bounce. No, it's going to be downed. It's going to be down by Daryl Giles at about the 40-yard line. There is a flag now. Let's check it out.
Looks like the ref's calling roughing the punter on 6, but Joe Davis is arguing that it was deflected, which would take away that penalty. So should be interesting to see what they're going to call.
Well, the officials are deciding what it's going to be. I mean, I don't know how much it's going to swing into the name of momentum as the officials try to discuss things here. So we'll see what happens. But again, we'll see if it's a re-kick or if the Longhorns are going to get a first down out of this one. I can't see. Yeah, roughing the kicker indeed against the Storm. So the Longhorns will keep the ball and get a free first down after a 15-yard penalty. Yusuf Rek is like, what? But you're up 37-0. Don't worry about it.
And I was giving a ton of compliments to the special teams there, the great game that they had, and that's a mental mistake right there by number 6, Joe Davis.
Well, it happens. I mean, after all, the Storm, remember, got a special teams touchdown on a block punt by Mike Kuzer, who brought it home for the second touchdown by the Storm today. So, following the 15-yard penalty, and it looks like the ball. Now, what is the ball doing in the territory of the Storm? Were there back-to-back personal fouls? Could there have been a roughing the kicker and an unsportsmanlike on top of it?
Possibly. That's the only.
Or Marshman saying, "What? Are you serious?" So, we saw the roughing the kicker, but it's very strange to get a back-to-back personal fouls. But like I said, if it was a closer game, I'd be scratching my head. But right now, with the Storm ahead, it's not really too much to worry about. And now the officials are saying, hold up. Now we got a timeout by the Storm. So the Lehigh Valley Storm are going to call a timeout here, their first timeout of the half. And by the way, just so you know, next week, of course, you're listening to Lehigh Valley Storm Football, courtesy of lvstormfootball.com and Storm Radio and hot101.net. Don't forget, next week we're here on this field when the Lehigh Valley Storm take on the New Jersey Bravehearts. And that's going to be the last of that long, endless road trip for the Storm, who have not been home since August 23rd when they beat the New Jersey Spartans 38-0. They haven't been home since then. It'll be the last regular season game for them on the road, and then hopefully it'll be home cooking if they take care of business.
Yeah, so they're looking to finish out, if I believe it, they have the tiebreaker over the Predators, who are both 7-1 because we beat them outright.
Indeed, 42-3 in the home opener for the Storm back in July. All right, so be it as it may, the Longhorns are going to get the ball, we're going to say, about the 41-yard line of the Storm, following back-to-back personal foul penalties, which I'm still a little bit discombobulated as to why. But anyway, Bird in the shotgun, 1st and 10, takes a snap, nearly went to his right. Here's a throw to the left, and again over Donnell Williams' head, or was it Prela, whoever it was incomplete. It was, again, 5 feet over the head of the receiver.
Yeah, it was overthrown, and safety Phil Tucker was coming up and flying, ready to make another huge hit. The Storm defense, even though it's up 37-0, are still coming out and fighting and playing good football.
And that's all the Longhorns can do. They want to try and get some points on the scoreboard. By the way, we forgot to mention Pepsi, a proud sponsor of Lehigh Valley Storm football. Pepsi, live for now. Just remember to check out Pepsi.com and see what's trending. Of course, I have my bottle I'm trying to gulp up whenever I can, but I probably could use water. It's probably better for my throat. But in any event, 2nd and 10, the Longhorns at the Storm 41-yard line. Storm leading 37-0 over the New Jersey Longhorns. As once again, Bird, who is in for Rob Wright, who was very effective in today's game. Let's see, Bird with the snap. He's going to go on a quarterback draw, run to his left, cross the 40, cross the 30, cross the 20, and tiptoe out of bounds at the 17-yard line. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Bird kind of imitated Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, no, there's been a couple big plays for the Longhorns all day, and it seems like I said before, shoot themselves in the foot, and obviously the Storm don't want to let up any points in tonight's game, so Longhorns are going to look to continue this drive and get some points on the end zone.
Well, you're expecting me to say Jack jumped over the candlestick, but then you'd have to say and burned his rear end in the process.
I didn't know what you were going with there.
Well, I know where we're going is it's 3-quarter time. The Lehigh Valley Storm in a scoreless third quarter here, so after 3, the Lehigh Valley Storm with a 37-0 lead over the New Jersey Longhorns, but the Longhorns are driving. They are in the red zone at the 18 following a 23-yard run by Bird, and we'll see what they come up with as we go into the final quarter. And considering our sponsors are like, hey, JJ, how come you haven't talked about us? Why'd you do that?
A couple sponsors for tonight's game. We have Pepsi, A&H Sporting Goods, Schrudy's Pub and Restaurant, located 1853 North Hampton Street in Allentown, PA. Scott Family of Dealerships, Connecticut School of Broadcasting, State Farm Insurance, Blackman Cycle Center, 4911 Buckeye Road in Emmaus, Pennsylvania, Kula Children's Center, and HSG Productions.
And by the way, with the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, make sure if you want to get yourselves involved like we have, just visit online, go csb.com, or call toll-free 800 TV-radio. And trust me, JJ, take it from us. We're CSB grads. We don't know how he's done it, but we know he's done it. But just as long as we got there, you know. They got some fun around here, and just gotta love what you do. As long as you do that, you're perfectly fine. A lot of people don't get the opportunity, and that's why we try and remind you, if you're working, just love what you do, and now make life so much easier. But anyway, back to the game. As the Longhorns are in the red zone again, and flags fly and then he picks up the flag. Bird is back, and the pass is caught. Dono Williams spins out of a tackle and is thrown down by a major face mask. There's a downpour of yellow coming from every official, including people from the sky. Obviously, a major face mask against the Storm. It'll be half the distance and 1st and goal for the Longhorns.
Yeah, I think that was Orrin Marshman there. It looked like a clothesline, WWE style.
Either that or an RKO using the face mask. Ouch! That has got to hurt.
And that's definitely half the distance, and Longhorns are going to look to punch it in and get points on the board to complete this drive.
They have gone inside the 10-yard, actually inside the Storm 15-yard line. This is now their 3rd time. They've obviously failed in the first 2 tries, as the Storm right now with a 37-0 lead, but of course that is up for grabs right now. We got Rosalie checking in from Milwaukee listening to the game. Crazy shots to her, and then Pat on Toledo checking things out. And then there's Marjorie, who I don't know where she's from, but crazy shout out to all of you checking things out. Hashtag Storm Radio if you want to get on in the fun here for the final quarter here. But anyway, half the distance after the major face mask penalty, 1st and goal. We'll say we'll bat the 7 or 8 yard line with Bird in the shotgun. He takes a snap, he's looking, he'll throw a fade out to the right, and it is caught. Welcome to the end zone, but flags down everywhere. Flags are down. We'll see if this counts. It is a 7-yard touchdown pass pending the penalty, and it's going to be defensive pass interference, which aborts the shutout, and officially the New Jersey Longhorns have shown up for work.
Yeah, no, that was a great drive there by the Longhorns to cap it off. A couple penalties, obviously the Orrin Marshman one hurts, but new quarterback in the game for the Longhorns, and a good drive capped off with a touchdown.
I think it was either Kenny Prelo or there was also number 17, Tamir Houston, who's the tight end, who I think had the block there. But in the meantime, the Longhorns do score and abort the shutout, just like the Northeast Eagles did in the season opener in Bridgewater. Remember, the Storm were up 34-0 in that game before the Eagles scored in the second half. The Longhorns, with basically nothing to lose, they're going for 2. And we'll see what happens here. Are they going to line up for an extra point? I can't tell. It looks like, yeah, they will line up for the extra point. 99 will try and punch it right through. Williams to hold, and it is a fake. Nobody's there, and they're going. Oh, and he throws it. It's intercepted. Now, what was that all about? He could have run it into the end zone for 2 points, and instead he throws it in the back of the end zone to a Storm player, and I don't think it would have mattered, because as soon as it's intercepted, the play is dead. Not like college football where you can run it back for 2 points.
Yeah, that was weird. It looked like he could have walked in, almost looked like he was showboating, but he got ready to throw it, and interception by the Storm.
And that's what happens when you showboat.
Correct.
Everything backfires on you. But anyway, it is a failed conversion, so it is a 37-6 lead now for the Lehigh Valley Storm over the New Jersey Longhorns, rather. I'll get the New Jersey. There are too many New Jersey teams. You got to state your position here. Got the Bravehearts, who are Roselle. The Longhorns, who I thought were Bloomfield, they're now Roselle as well. And also got the Wolves, who are Plainfield. I mean, just a lot of New Jersey teams, and there was even a team in Atlantic City called the New Jersey Devils, and we got them confused with a hockey team. And if you think this is funny, get this: in another league, there's the Hartford Whalers. Yeah, I did a game with them last year. I kid you not.
That's correct. I don't know how that was approved, but that definitely makes things confusing.
And when it's semi-pro, pretty much anything goes. And ironically enough, in the Whalers game, I forget who they played, but the final score was 2-0. And on the safety, they did not play the Hartford Whalers song when they scored a goal. You know.
Yeah. 2-0. Wow. Very, very exciting game.
So, needless to say, the New Jersey Longhorns, they end up driving into the end zone. Of course, they can be thanked by three personal fouls on that drive by the Storm, 2 of them on one play, roughing the kicker and unsportsmanlike, following which. So we'll see if the Longhorns decide to do the onside kick and try and get some more points on the board. It looks like Mayers and Travis King and Yusuf Reddick, they're shortening up the return. Yeah, who knows? I've seen some strange things happen
at this point.
Yeah, but still a 31-point game. It is going to be a regular kickoff, and it's going to be over Mayers' head, over King's head, and into the end zone, and Mayers is going to run it out. I don't understand this, but he's going to go and get tackled at about the 10-yard line. I mean, I would have just taken a knee and just not risk any health. Remember, 2 linemen for the Storm were injured on back-to-back plays with Edgar Rodriguez and then James Robinson toward the end of the first half. So, I understand why Mayers decided to run that out.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. Obviously, health is something that is in the back of everyone's minds right now. We hope that Edgar Rodriguez is healthy and a good recovery. But, yeah, you got to just take a knee there, in my opinion, and not risk any more injury.
And needless to say, for the Storm, if you just joined us late in the first half on a 3rd and goal play, Lehigh threw a pass to Michael Thomas, but in the end, on what looked to be a fallback during the tackle, Edgar Rodriguez suffered a very serious leg injury. I'm not exactly sure what it was. Some Storm players were saying it was an ankle injury. We don't know if it was a break or anything like that. We'll know more for sure tomorrow, but he was taken to a local medical center around here to get checked out, and we're hoping for the best, obviously, for him. In the meantime, 1st and 10 for the Storm, way over to about the 10-yard line, and Lehu's still in the game, hands it off. Looks like Rob Kuzer is looked like he tried to get around the outside and ends up losing a couple yards. A little bit of extracurricular activity. This is the dangerous part of the game. We had a major injury. The last thing you want to happen are to have any fights.
Yeah, especially we've been good. There was a streak there that was about 3 or 4 games in a row on games that we were calling. It wasn't Storm players, it was opposite players, but you got to keep your head on right and finish strong.
That is very true. 2nd, and we're going to say about, 2nd, and we'll say about 13. Storm very deep in their own territory, probably about the 7. High snap over Lehigh, and it's going to be recovered in the end zone for, don't tell me a safety. This is the 2nd game this year that I have seen 2 teams score a safety. And Lehigh does recover in the end zone to make it 37-8 in favor of the Lehigh Valley Storm. So, in delayed fashion, the Longhorns get their 2-point conversion, except in a different way.
Yeah, correct. And I don't know if that's football gods doing that or something, but that's 8 straight points for the Longhorns right now, and a couple of big plays. And center and quarterback exchange is something that they've had a problem with in the beginning, and obviously right there is a big problem.
Well, actually, that was for the Storm. The Longhorns had the bigger problems with center.
Yeah, no, I mean in the first couple games this season.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, of course, back earlier in the season, that was a bit of an issue. However, for the Storm, I think mentally they've kind of lost their edge a little bit. So basically now, it's still a 4-score game. 4 touchdowns and 1 2-point conversion kind of does the trick there. But again, after a safety, the offense has the free, it's 2 points for the defense, and the offense has the free kick to the defense. I did a game in another league earlier this year where both teams actually scored on a safety on like back-to-back drives.
Wow. And everything that's happened so far in this game, like I said, anything's possible. Nothing can surprise us anymore.
Well, if once it happens in the NFL, we can say, now we've seen everything.
Correct.
famous last words by Merrill Reese after Matt Bryant's 62-yard field goal some years ago.
Yeah, my brother was at that game in Tampa.
Well, go figure that one. Sometimes the asteroids are flying. So is this football that Eppelman sets very high and deep and caught by Donnell Williams at the 20. Off he goes far side, crossing the 30, and he gets tackled down about the 38-yard line by Isaiah Green on special teams. So now the Longhorns will try to get on offense and see what happens.
Yeah, that was a booming kick by Bobby, and a good job by the special teams going down in great coverage there. But Longhorns going to look to get more points on the board and just leave with their heads held high.
Well, they at least are still competing, and that's the thing you want to see from a team regardless. I mean, it looks like in the end the Longhorns are going to go 5-5 on the year. And of course, that loss to Brooklyn last week really stung, but they're still playing, and that's all you can do for 60 minutes. As Coach Andy Reid once said, you got to keep playing, you got to keep fighting, and what do you know? Even if you're down 21-0, you win 35-21, it's happened. You just got to keep playing because stranger things have happened. But in any case, the Longhorns will have a 1st and 10 of their own 38-yard line. Once again, their quarterback, Brian Bird, in the game. He took over in the third quarter for Rob Wright, who was very ineffective in this game. Bird is in between split backs. Ball spot again at the 38-yard line. Bird will be in the shotgun this time. Man in motion is Giles. Back goes Bird. He throws a screen pass, which is caught, and that's Andre White who made the play. But guess who's there? Joe Peters to make the stop. Ends up being a 3-yard loss.
He does a good job staying home on a screen. Obviously, the offensive lineman try and let the defensive lineman go through, but he read screen and stayed home, and that's what you're taught to do, and made a nice play.
It's actually a loss of 4 on the play, so 2nd and 14 coming up for the Longhorns at the 34-yard line. They're going to actually huddle up and see whatever play they come up with. So once again, the Storm basically about 10 minutes away from improving to 8-1 on the season. Like I said, win out and they get home field for their conference as they head into the Major League Football playoffs. But like I said, they've had a lot of time off, but now they're getting back into football shape. Meanwhile, flags are down. It's very possible the Longhorns took too much time to make late dinner plans. And no, it's actually an illegal substitution, which is just the same thing, a 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, they've had a couple of those tonight, for sure.
Well, that was more false starts than anything else. I think this was that might have been a 12-man in the huddle penalty, but still a 5-yard penalty. And now the Longhorns with a 2nd and we're going to say 19, or it could be 20, we'll say, from the 28-yard line. I tell you what, if you recall for the Storm, we've been announcing back-to-back weeks 2 teams that played in the 2010 BEFF championship game, the longest semi-pro game ever played, I would have to say, with 3 overtimes.
Yeah.
But anyway, Bird in the shotgun, 2nd and 20. Back he goes in the shotgun, throws, and he's intercepted. It's Joe Davis. He's going to try and bring it back. Has it in 30, to the 20, to the 10, the 5, brought down at about the 2-yard line. Very close to a pick 6, and it was 0 on the stop. I'm not 100% sure what had happened, but it was Joe Davis who telegraphed the pass, nearly brought it back for a pick 6, but ended up falling about 2 yards short.
Yeah, great play. He jumped up and got to the sideline, so what you're taught to do with all the blockers, and brought it back to the 1-yard line.
So Joe Davis very, very close to a pick 6 here, and it'll be 1st and goal, and we'll see what the Storm decide to do. I mean, I would have to say bring Caleb Fick in and let him check things out. We got Allison also checking in from Glen Mills in southeastern Pennsylvania. She's listening courtesy, of course, lvstormfootball.com. Of course, listening to Storm Radio on hot101.net. And gotta throw everything in, as they say. All right, 1st and goal for the 1, and yes, indeed, Caleb Fick is in the game. Isaiah Green and Rob Kuzer, the running backs, and they have Art Sanders on the right side, Devon Gordon on the left side, and they're using Michael Thomas as an extra blocker. Here's a bobbled snap by Fick, and he's going to fall down. It isn't Fick. I'm sorry. No, it's Justin Thomas. Wait a minute. Justin Thomas, a quarterback? I'm getting confused here. So they're bringing up Justin Thomas in, and he ends up losing 4, bobbling the snap.
Yeah, and they just tried to. That's what happens when your backup quarterback comes in the game. It's going to be a quarterback-running back exchange, and obviously Isaiah Green is a little upset, but he should have another opportunity or two to get in the end zone.
Well, most certainly. It'll be 2nd and goal now. Storm at the 5-yard line following a 4-yard loss. Kuzer and Green basically are the ones in between Thomas, who again loses the snap, and the ball is going to be recovered by the Longhorns at the 16-yard line, picked up by that 99 guy who kicks and also recovers fumbles. But you know what? You were talking about hanging on to the ball. The Longhorns do get that turnover, albeit it came midway in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, and that's two times now in the second half that happened. Obviously, granted, one was with the backup quarterback, but that's something that you never want to see late in the game, making those mistakes for your team.
So I will have to say, though, the Storm, even though this game is lopsided, leading 37-0. Think about it this way. The offense didn't score in the first half last week, and they haven't scored, obviously, in the second half this week. Can you imagine you combine the two halves and you got a 64-0 contest, basically, if you start last week in the 3rd quarter. The ball, by the way, will be spotted at the 17-yard line for the Longhorns, and that's where it's going to be 1st and 10. So, needless to say, a very, very sloppy sequence by the Storm. But then again, you're up 37-0. You kind of expect that. But I'm sorry, 37-8 right now.
Six minutes remaining.
Okay, they just said 6 minutes still time. 37-8 to score, the Storm lead. Bird in the shotgun, and now whistles blow, and the Longhorns are going to use their second time out of the half. So, about 6 minutes still half time. I don't know if it's an LL Cool J rap or if it sounds like an old Dougie Fresh rap. I don't know what it is, but the Storm lead 37-8. Maybe throw some more sponsors one more time.
Couple sponsors for tonight's game. I know run through. We have Shrudy's Pub and Restaurant, Scott Family Dealership, Connecticut School of Broadcasting, celebrating 50 years of excellence, State Farm Insurance, Kula Children's Center, Philly Pretzel Factory, Amato Family Chiropractic, and HSG Productions. That's Howard Gabriel when you're ready to take your game film to the next level.
And pretty soon we're going to have to take our heaters to the next level, because it is cold and clammy, but at least it is not raining. As I had said at the beginning of the broadcast, for the 3rd straight game for the Lehigh Valley Storm, it rained before the game, and it really didn't rain much afterwards, but then Lehigh Valley brought their own storm to the opponent's field and have done business. Of course, the Storm, they were 3-0 before losing to Albany, and now this win will put 5 straight wins on the board. Of course, beating, I believe, the Legacy, followed by the Spartans, and then the Wolves, and then last week the Vikings, and here this week the New Jersey Longhorns. So 1st and 10, ball spot at the 17-yard line. Bird in the shotgun now for the Longhorns. They're going to go 4 receivers. They're going to hand it off up the middle. Nice run to the 25-yard line. That's Jonathan Blackwood, who's had a pretty decent game, able to find some holes in the Storm defense and able to pick up some decent 4th quarter yardage.
Looks like they're adopting the Storm offense and continuing here with hurry up.
Indeed. Well, 37-8, that's what happens. Again, Bird in the shotgun, 2nd and about 7. He goes back, throws left side, and it's intercepted. Guess who? Tashmir Flood, right side, 20, 10, pick 6. Welcome to the end zone. If Joe Davis can't do it, Tashmir Flood will. A 37-yard interception return for a touchdown, and Tashmir puts the Storm in the 40s.
Yeah, exactly. And he's going to go right up to Joe and say, I told you that's how I get in the end zone. I think he leads now with 7 interceptions on the year, but once again, this defense is just creating turnovers and making big plays.
So, turnovers on 3 straight possessions by both teams. Bird's 2nd interception. The first one was Joe Davis, but it fell short. Now, a sloppy sequence caused a fumble. And then another interception by Bird. And Tashmir Flood was basically Richard Marks, right here waiting.
I don't know. Who's Richard Marks?
Well, I think you need to learn your music a little bit, man. Well, it could be worse. You could do the locomotion, but the Storm have already done that since the beginning of this game. All right, Appleman with the extra point, but first a whistle, and you're like, oh, really? But I guess an invalid snap. Now, wait a minute. And now, I have no idea what the officials are doing. This end of the field has had pretty much all the action. This is where the 2 injuries happened.
Yeah,
and then, of course, now we have the Benny Hill football program going on here. So, Appleman will try the extra point otra vez. Here it is. Snap, kick on its way, and it sails on through, and the kick is good. So, the count is by the score of 44-8. The Lehigh Valley Storm continue to pile up points over the New Jersey Longhorns following a 38-yard pick six by Tajmir Flood.
And coming into this game, everyone was saying that the Longhorns love to create turnovers themselves, but on the past 2 possessions, it looks like the Storm had their own two interceptions, one to the house to show why they're one of the best defenses in this entire league.
Indeed so. So now the Longhorns are going to try and maybe one more time. I think they're saying by timeouts. The Longhorns have 1 timeout to the Storm's 2.
2:01 left in the game.
2:01. Okay, I'm sorry. So basically they're kind of doing like a semi-running clock. So, I don't know why I'd say 2:01 left in the game. You might as well have the 2-minute warning now, just a second early.
Correct. Just got an update. The Flyers are in overtime.
Oh, lovely. Flyers are up 2-0 in that game, and they've gone to extra. Well, typical Flyers. What do you expect?
Yeah.
I mean, they had a terrible start to the year. I mean, you lose on the road on a fluke goal to Boston, and then all of a sudden Steve Mason is anything but stone cold. Well, the Flyers at least get their first point, so they go to extra time hoping to get another one, but we'll see. But I'll tell you what, Flyers, I mean, you can't go off to a real slow start. But, hey, this feels like hockey weather anyway. 3 games in, I mean, but they're doing better like they compared to last year, except last year had no points and they fired a coach.
Exactly.
Appleman with a kickoff. They'll be taken by Prelo about the 3. He'll run to the right, to the 15. He'll escape to the 20, have a hold, 25, 30, still going, and then gets pushed out of bounds at the 33-yard line. As we're hearing all these what sound like death metal yells on the opposite side of the field. But the Longhorns will have 1st and 10, and I think I'm guessing we're going to have the 2-minute warning right now, though they're not really going to make a big announcement of it.
No, I don't think they're going to make an announcement for it. Maybe they are, maybe they will, but it's under 2 minutes now, and obviously health is something they want to do. But overall, who do you think had the best game so far tonight? Who would you?
Well, they're signaling the 2-minute warning anyway, so that's a very good question because I think this was more of a team effort, if anything else. If I were really to say one person, I mean, Yusuf Reddick's 2nd game in a row, he's had 2 touchdowns. But you know what? I've got to give it more to Jimmy LeHue because he was pinpoint accurate the first half, and then of course you get the special teams block punt by Mike Kuzer, who recovers it for a touchdown, and LeHue, of course, throwing 2 touchdowns. Reddick catching 1, he rushes for another. Raheem Ridley also had a couple of big runs, 1 for a touchdown from 33 yards. And now flag goes down on 1st down at the 32-yard line. It looks like it's going to be a false start against the Longhorns, as if we need another one.
Yeah, 5 more. Why not? It seems part of the theme so far for Longhorns all game.
Well, but luckily, I mean, it's just mental mistakes. But in any case, the ball is brought back to the 26, so it'll be 1st and 15 from there. Longhorns are going to be picking up their wounds. Of course, this is the last game for their regular season, so they will finish at a 5-5 mark. Burden, looks like he is shotgun unless they have another quarterback in there. I can't quite see. Here's a high snap. It's going to be Giles who's going to go for a Hail Mary with his left hand, and he throws it to Kenilworth. Incomplete.
Yeah, still trying to throw bombs there late in the game, but once again, just missed them.
I know last month was the 200th anniversary of the Star Spangled Banner, but that was not exactly the bombs bursting in air because it gave proof to the night that the receivers weren't quite there.
Dr. Seuss.
No, not Dr.
I'm
Seuss.
saying you're rhyming. You're out here rhyming.
And to think that we saw it on Mulberry Street, my gosh.
You knew what I meant.
Or the rat and splats, I don't know. I gotta have some fun here. Anyway, yeah, it was Shouse throwing the incompletion. Back in the game is Bird, who's wearing number 11 tonight. In between split backs, they go 3 wide, slot to the right, Donnell Williams, and now they motion preload to the right for 4 receivers. 2nd and 10, and a ground ball snap, and it's gonna be picked up. Oh, not picked up, and now is picked up. Carl Kreider to the 5, and he will walk in. Welcome to the end zone. Carl Kreidler that time on a ground ball, and I'll tell you something, that's as bizarre as anything as I've seen. I mean, that was a ground ball that went through the 5-hole of the receiver, and looked like Kuzer was going to pick that up. He could not, but Carl Kreidler did, and the Storm have hit 50. Oh boy.
Yeah. Is that it?
And they said, that's enough. This game is over. That will do it. The Lehigh Valley Storm have gone to 8-1 on the year with a final officially of 50-8 over the New Jersey Longhorns. So just a bizarre way to end the night in what, I mean, it was not even close of a game, but I'll tell you what, if you want the words "now I've seen everything" on the captions, I may be writing that early next week.
Yeah, I mean, technically that's a walk-off with Carl Kreider to the house, but that's just the way to cap off a perfect way of this game.
And what they're going, and of course, with the game being over, they're going to do Corey Martinez's play in just a couple of moments here. But the Lehigh Valley Storm, very, very impressive in their win. They improved to 8-1. Remember, they will be coming back onto this field next week when they play the New Jersey Bravehearts, the last of this never-ending road trip, which, of course, remember, their last game at home was back on August 23rd against the New Jersey Spartans. But now, as part of the tradition for Corey's play, of course, that will be taken care of in just the next couple of moments here. As I'm looking here on this scoreboard, oh, are you kidding me? Kansas City won again over Baltimore 6-4, and they're up 2-0. Watch, they'll go to the World Series, and they'll be the ones being swept by whoever comes through in the National League. So that's how it always works. Just ask the Colorado Rockies that from a few years ago. But anyway, they are doing the short play for Corey Martinez from the 20-yard line. Remember, they do this because Martinez, of course, is a special player with cerebral palsy. So following the game, they flip to Corey Martinez. Let's see what he does here today. He's going to run to the right. He'll get the blocks. And he actually gets a real block from one of the offensive linemen. And he's going to walk right into the end zone very easily. And spikes it right in front of people surrounding him. Boy, there have been enough Storm people that have been hurt today, so we didn't need anybody else for that to happen.
No, it's a great touchdown. I love, I think it was last week he said just over 200 yards, so that's something always good to see at the end of the Sword games.
Of course. Oh, here's another one for you. Alabama just got by Arkansas 14-13.
Wow.
So very close one there. But in any event, just to recap, the Lehigh Valley Storm, Jimmy LeHue, 2 touchdown passes, one, of course, Yusuf Reck to open the game, and now, of course, that 45-yard bomb to Devon Gordon, who ends up catching his first touchdown in quite some time, of course, since the Wolves contest. A rushing touchdown for Raheem Ridley from 33 yards out, a block punt for a touchdown by Mike Kuzer, an end-around touchdown for Yusuf Reddick as well. Of course, a safety when quarterback Rob Wright ended up catching his own pass deflecting in the end zone and tackled midway in the end zone. That was a safety. The Storm led 37-0 at halftime and then through three-quarter time. And then in the end, Bird threw a touchdown pass, I believe, to, if I'm not mistaken, it might have been Prelo in the back of the end zone. And then they got a safety as LeHue fumbled a snap deep in his own territory and recovered it. But then, after which, touchdown for the Storm on interception, pick 6 by Tashmere Flood from 37 yards out, and then a fumble recovery by Carl Kreider on the final play of the game ends up going into the end zone, and no extra point obviously, as that was the game right there. 50-8, the final score. Lehigh Valley Storm defeat the New Jersey Longhorns to improve to 8-1. So, do you have a stellar player you want to look at for in this game?
I mean, I think you answered it best before. If you have to pick one, I would say Jimmy Lehigh, but overall it was a great team effort by everyone, all Storm players.
I have to say, you're absolutely right. And everything was handled with class and dignity today, like we had last week against the Vikings. That was very important. But the more important thing to remember here in this game tonight, of course, the health of Edgar Rodriguez, who suffered a very serious supposed ankle injury late in the first half of the game. Now, of course, James Robinson suffered another injury, but he ended up coming back into play later on. So the key here for the Storm was to stay healthy, and thankfully they were able to in the second half. Now the key is how to get their offensive line together as they prepare for the Bravehearts next week.
Yeah, they got to next guy up. I know it's hard to come back and play after a guy gets injured, especially carried away in an ambulance, but that's the game of football, and you just have to look at it as next guy up.
That's indeed the case. But the Lehigh Valley Storm, 2 down, 1 to go on this long 3-game road trip. And the Storm, of course, with that 50-8 win over the New Jersey Longhorns here from Roselle. So next week, we're back here on the same field. The Lehigh Valley Storm take on the New Jersey Bravehearts. We're probably going to be broadcasting again from the 10-yard line. We'll probably have hats and gloves with us because it'll probably be 10 degrees colder in that. Yeah, well, that's why I've been wearing a sweatshirt the last couple weeks. After all, it is fall. It is football. And remember, Pepsi is a proud sponsor for Lehigh Valley Storm football. Pepsi, live for now. Remember to see what's trending, what's going on at Pepsi.com. So, what's the deal for next week? What do you see happening?
I'm not really aware of the opponent, but I know that the Storm are going to come out and just play their style of football, and I know that they're going to most likely need a win for home field advantage throughout the playoffs, so I'm expecting them to come out and dominate again. Well,
like I said, anything strange can happen, but keep this in mind. The Lehigh Valley Storm, unfinished business, and right now 8-1. They obviously have clinched a home game in the playoffs, no question about that. One more win, and they clinch home field in the conference as they head to the grand final coming in late November. So next week here from Roselle, and hopefully we'll be able to memorize going to this field, the Lehigh Valley Storm will be playing here at Sylvester Land Field against the New Jersey Bravehearts. Kickoff is slated for 7. It might be 7:30 depending on some spots, but obviously all you need to do for all the latest information on the Lehigh Valley Storm, visit them at lvstormfootball.com, and for all the stuff on Major League Football, visit majorleaguefootball.us for all the latest stuff with Major League Football and all the teams there. And of course, you can get some information on the Bravehearts there. Of course, major thanks to Steve, the owner of the Storm, Howard Gaber with the video and stuff like that, and all the people, and of course the gang at Hot101.net who were very happy to help us out once again. Of course, Storm Radio, which of course houses Lehigh Valley Storm football. So 9 regular season games down, 1 to go, and hopefully the Storm will be able to come through. The Storm improved to 8-1. The Longhorns fall to 5-5 as their regular season concludes. So I think we need to go back in and warm up our cars and head home. So for James Josephson and the rest of the Lehigh Valley Storm crew, it's a crazy one. Tom Wilkins signing off for now. Once again, your final score: the Lehigh Valley Storm 50, the New Jersey Longhorns 8. Remember, we're back next week here in this same field in Roselle, New Jersey, when the Storm take on the New Jersey Bravehearts. Make sure you check things out at lvstormfootball.com. Click on Storm Radio, and you'll be able to get the stuff here from our, shall we say, portable broadcast booth from the 10-yard line. Now all we need is some heat, and that'd be very nice. So we'll talk to you next week here from Roselle. This has been a presentation of Lehigh Valley Storm football in conjunction with Major League Football.